A former WWE superstar has come clean about the power battle that occurred last year between Vince McMahon and Triple H. Despite his previous identity as Cameron Grimes, Trevor Lee has claimed that the game is not fully in charge. In 2022, after public accusations of sexual misconduct, the former board chairman formally declared his retirement. However, he managed to get back into WWE in January of last year. While McMahon was away, the cerebral assassin oversaw creative, but McMahon later reinserted himself. In a recent interview with Denise Salcedo, Trevor Lee discussed his time on the main roster and said that Triple H and Vince McMahon were at odds because the previous WWE CEO disliked NXT performers and liked to modify the script. One of WWE's top female performers, Buff Barbie, has just been on the main roster for a few months, but she's already made a name for herself. Since she possesses the Money in the Bank contract, she may also become a champion in the future. When it comes to professional wrestling, the drama behind the scenes is often just as interesting as what goes down on the mat. The long-running feud between Paul Triple H Levesque, WWE's current director of creative, and WWE founder Vince McMahon has been one of the most keenly observed power conflicts among WWE insiders and fans. Their divergent goals for WWE have sometimes clashed, despite the fact that both men are quite influential. One of WWE's former stars recently came clean about the complicated power relations between Triple H and Vince McMahon, illuminating the battle for creative control that has molded the company in 2023. From this vantage point, rumors have circulated about WWE's future and the effects of these divergent ideas on the company's superstars and the quality of its merchandise. A 14-time world champion and WWE Hall of Famer, Triple H started his adventure behind the scenes over 10 years ago. When he took over WWE's developmental brand, NXT, his impact started to go beyond only performance, even though he became famous as the Game in the Ring. Under his direction, NXT grew from a modest developmental territory into a highly esteemed brand that showcases talent from all over the world, focuses on authentic wrestling, and has top-notch storytelling. Triple H's strategy, which prioritized multi-genre lineups, complex character development, and long-term narrative, was well received by both fans and reviewers. After Vince McMahon's temporary departure from WWE in late 2022 due to a slew of scandals, Triple H took over as creative director of WWE's main roster. There was a noticeable shift in the program, with a stronger focus on wrestling and more in-depth plot lines and personalities. An influx of young talent from NXT and chances for struggling superstars breathed new life into WWE's main events. It seemed like Triple H would lead WWE into a new era for good, and many people were optimistic about the future. Vince McMahon's unexpected return to WWE in early 2023 as executive chairman was clearly intended to supervise the company's ultimate sale. Despite claims to the contrary, some in the know have seen his hand in creative decision-making creeping back into the mix. Some months passed, and rumors began to circulate that McMahon was rewriting scripts and overriding Triple H's choices. Triple H wasn't fully in charge, even though it might have looked like it on the surface, one unnamed former WWE star stated. Final choices, particularly those involving major matters, were still being made by Vince. This sudden change may have been a problem for Triple H. Months of pushing an audience-pleasing vision for WWE were suddenly stifled by McMahon's intimidating presence. Conflicting with Triple H's emphasis on wrestling and narrative depth, McMahon's approach was characterized by scripted promos, fast-paced stories, and a fondness for larger-than-life characters. Former WWE star claims that Hunter has always supported the idea of providing wrestlers creative license to bring their own unique style to their roles. But Vince, he's the kind to want to be involved in every detail. Vince and Triple H's power battle stems from their divergent perspectives on the wrestling industry. Many consider Vince McMahon a visionary, since he expanded wrestling from local promotions to a worldwide media conglomerate. His foresight established WWE as a cultural touchstone and brought the company widespread fame. His storytelling has always been focused on making a big splash and appealing to a wide audience, appealing to the casual fan. There were heroes who were larger than life or villains who were merciless, and the plots often deviated into soap opera territory with shocking turns and shocking revelations. But Triple H got his start in the wrestling industry by studying the art form. Many viewers equated his narrative approach with classic wrestling, and his reverence for in-ring performance shone through in his NXT work. He put an emphasis on speed, agility, and character arcs that viewers could relate to. He aspires to please both longtime fans and new viewers with his fan-centric approach. The former WWE superstar said that Triple H's NXT was exceptional. He aspired to elevate the art of wrestling to the level of the main roster, and it was a venue that fostered that. Unpredictable changes to WWE programming have resulted from the conflict between these ideologies. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Finn Balor were given more character development, and stories became more sophisticated under Triple H's guidance. Fans saw strange scheduling choices, narrative shifts, and screenplay rewrites at the last minute as Vince re-established his influence, leaving actors confused and frustrated. Once upon a time, there was a WWE superstar named Vince who would enter the company and completely change the dynamic. Those younger men particularly found it perplexing. A lot of the WWE stars have felt the effects of the changing power dynamic. Under Triple H's leadership, the wrestling team fostered an atmosphere of open communication and collaboration, encouraging each wrestler to share their thoughts and even take part in the creative process. Triple H was especially sought after by wrestlers whose personalities need intricate narrative, like as Bray Wyatt and Karrion Kross. Hunter listens, the X-Star said. He delves deeply into the character's motivations and desires. Do as I say, not as I do, is the prevailing attitude with Vince. The power battle has cast doubt on the future of numerous wrestlers. Wrestlers who were developed and given fresh storylines by Triple H sometimes found themselves sidelined when McMahon's influence returned. Some wrestlers have felt like they're caught in the middle of it all. You never really know who's in charge, says the former WWE star. After 1 week of Triple H's influence, Vince seems to have reclaimed the spotlight. Your forward progress might be disrupted. Many viewers have taken note of the power dynamic between Triple H and Vince McMahon and have had conflicting feelings about WWE's latest shows. Supporters of Triple H's creative direction and those who would rather see in-ring action than long-term storylines have been outspoken in their demands for Vince's resignation and endorsement of Triple H. On the other hand, there are WWE fans who have been around for a while and think Vince is a great addition, since his approach makes the company more shocking and more spectacular. These debates have taken center stage on social media as viewers analyze each show for hints as to who is in control. Fans give Triple H credit when the plot lines make sense, and they give McMahon props when the programs appear forced or poorly planned. The result has been a split among the fans, with some wanting Triple H to be in charge and others wanting a middle ground. There has been no resolution to the power war between Triple H and Vince McMahon as 2023 winds down. There is optimism that a more solid power structure will take shape as a result of the recent merger between WWE and Endeavor and the development of TKO Group, which manages both WWE and UFC. Rumor has claimed that Vince would tighten his hold over WWE even more after the merger in an effort to save the company's heritage from new owners, or that Triple H will solidify his position as head of creative.